It's Super Bowl Friday. Good morning. We're all limping to the weekend, it feels like, because the Super Bowl is right around the corner. Today's a super show. We're going to get to some other stuff first, and then we will, of course, get to the Super Bowl. You can watch on Spotify and on YouTube, of course. This is Interesting to See, a daily sports podcast. News, narratives, takes, gambling. NBA trade deadline finished up yesterday. I got the big ones. Some other stuff happened. Not really a huge deal. But I want to start today in the National Hockey League. You know, the only league in the Western Hemisphere that really, truly is both a big-time sport and also not really a national league. It's a multinational league. Calgary Flames defenseman Rasmus Andersson was hurt Wednesday night after being struck by a car while riding a scooter in Detroit. Those fucking scooters are terrible. There's a South Park episode about this. Those scooters are a goddamn disaster. They're just everywhere. Cars don't respect them. They're so stupid and risky. Just Google them and read about all of the people who have been killed or seriously injured by them. They are a nightmare. And they almost, a professional athlete who can afford the Uber to dinner with his teammates, which is where he was heading. Bro, get off the goddamn scooters. What are we doing? Brian Kelly got divorced, and then he didn't get divorced, and now he's happy. There were a bunch of TikToks going around between his son and his daughter about how his parents are still together after some people reported that they had filed for divorce, and then they reconciled, and now they're together. Something about LSU, man, that is a dangerous place down there. Weird shit happens. Bunch of weird shit going on with Brian Kelly. I'll be honest with you. We all know Brian Kelly's not like a great dude. You know? Let's leave him alone. Who cares? Brett Favre is suing Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee because they shit on him on their respective television or radio shows or whatever platform they did, because Brett Favre has maintained his innocence from stealing money from the state of Mississippi or knowingly allowing money to be deferred for people who are poor and starving, and so that the southern Mississippi could get a new volleyball court where his daughter plays. So he's suing those guys for saying that's not true. What a spineless jackass. What a dick. Okay, let's do Super Bowl stuff. A couple minutes into the show. I have some bets for you. These are the bets I like and bets I think will be fun. My favorite bet of all time is not a Super Bowl bet. It's just a bet. I used to, when I was in a state that allowed online sports gambling, I used to love to bet the first play of the game being a pass or a run. Just an electrifying way to start the game, because it required enough analysis, but it was also enough of a coin flip that you could really get into it. I don't love doing the coin flip bet. It's fun, but it's a terrible way to start from behind. You know what I mean? Okay, so we'll start with MVP. Chris Jones and Kenneth Gainwell, to me, are the obvious long shot choices. I have them right, yeah? Chris Jones is plus 4,600, so put a $10 bet in there. That's plus 4,500, excuse me, don't have my glasses. Kenneth Gainwell is plus 6,500. $10 bet would win you $650 or $450 respectively. You can see it right there on the screen. I like those guys. Chris Jones, I thought, should have been the MVP of whatever Super Bowl the Chiefs won, not Mahomes. I thought he wrecked that game. Well, he was by far the best player. He hadn't had a sack in the playoffs until last week when he had a couple against whoever, Burrow. The Eagles' offensive line is significantly better, though, and I don't think he's going to have a good game. But I think if the Chiefs win, he has to. He has to be the best player on the field. Like, that's the only path to victory. Kenneth Gainwell is just a long shot behind the Eagles' offensive line, which I think is going to be an interesting game plan. I think the Eagles might just run it down their throat. Gainwell seems really fresh. If you watch the Niners game and even the Giants game, every time he gets the ball, he goes north and south. He looks like a pretty good thing. I think he could also catch a pass. Okay, let's get into some weird shit. First turnover of the game as an interception. So no, as in implying the first turnover of the game will be anything other than an interception, is plus 120, while first turnover being an interception is minus 150. I like that bet. I don't know why. It just seems people get nervous in these big games. Patrick Mahomes has only thrown two touchdowns to 4 interceptions in his 2 Super Bowls, by the way. Also, fun fact, Ndamukong Suh has been now in like 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls, I think. So he's with the Rams in 18, the Bucks in 20, And then now here he is in 22 with the Eagles. So he's 1-1 in Super Bowls. He has had an enormous impact in the playoffs when he's in the playoffs. Enormous. He's the guy that broke Josh Johnson's brain. I think that he's going to be involved, and that's kind of like how fumbles are going to happen. He's just such a violent person. Over 3.5 players to score points for the Eagles. That means kicker, Jalen Hurts probably, and then you need 2 other guys to score touchdowns. I love that bet. It's minus 150. I think it's going to happen. Next bet. Average ratings for the Super Bowl over 114 million. The NFL is God. They're going to get there. Super Bowl receiving record 215 yards. That to be broken, which would be 215.1 yards. Love the bet. Travis Kelce. And I also have him, I'm pairing that with the Super Bowl reception record of 14. Because he's going to get that if they want it. They've got a ton of those. I think he could get both. I don't think there's an Eagles player who's going to get 14 receptions. But it wouldn't be weird if somebody like Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown had 230 yards. My favorite Super Bowl prop is over 2.5 players to throw a pass attempt. So there's 2 quarterbacks in this game. To say nothing of the fact that they're both kind of hurt. They're not super duper hurt. Like they're going to play, obviously, but they're both a little hurt. Everybody's banged up right now. Mahomes' ankle hurts. He's got a high ankle sprain. It was about 4 weeks ago that it happened, which high ankle sprains could be 4 to 12 weeks depending on how bad it is. So if something happens to the ankle or whatever, or the ankle limits his mobility and then he gets hit or something, like unlikely, but not 0% chance. I mean, Chad Henne had to come into the game when he got the ankle sprain, if I remember. Over 2.5. I think Chad Henne led him on a touchdown drive against who were they playing? Oh my God, I'm going to give myself 5 seconds to think of this. Bills, no. Bengals, no. Ravens, no. Jacksonville. Yeah. Whatever. So I think it's going to happen. Minshew, Henne, and then you could have trick plays. Kelce always does this. To me, this is easy money. Over 2.5 players to attempt a pass. That'd be my biggest wager. I think I'd probably put 50 on that. So my unit's usually $10 is a unit for me. These are just 1 unit bets right here. I can't place them because I live in North Carolina. All right, let's talk about the game. Some Super Bowl storylines you got to talk about. One, the Kelce brothers thing. Everybody's already making fun of it. Bro, it is one of the craziest things that's ever happened. They're like the best players of their position. Unbelievable. Number 2, when you look at Rihanna's lineup, like what song she could play, is Rihanna somehow underrated? It feels very much like she's underrated. The Super Bowl halftime show, the word on the street, on Twitter, is that it's going to be electrifying. The people think it might be one of the best ever. I don't know. Who knows? It's going to be epic, though, I think. So that'll be a fun part of this. Another interesting storyline for me is going to be who's there. I get the sense that this is going to be like 60% Eagles fans. And the reason I think that is because Philly being a larger city, that means there are just more rich people that are Philadelphians. But number 2, because of the boom-bust economy that Philadelphia has experienced as a city ever since the Industrial Revolution, a lot of Philadelphians, like a lot of Detroiters and Clevelanders and whatnot, are not in Philly anymore. But you can find a Philly bar just about anywhere you want to go. So because of that, I think they have these pockets of fans everywhere. I think they're going to outnumber Chiefs fans. And I don't know if that's going to affect the game, but I could see a situation where the Chiefs have to go silent count and the Eagles don't. I could definitely see that. For sure. Other storylines, rapper Drake. Fade Drake is the move. Where do you go, Drake? There he is. Rapper Drake has placed a $700,000 bet on the Chiefs to beat the Eagles in Super Bowl 57. Are we done with the Roman numerals? LVII. And then look, if you look on the hashtag, it's got this little thing here. The Super Bowl. $750,000 on the Chiefs. My take of the game is going to be, it feels a lot like LeBron or the early days of Sidney Crosby, where like one guy is willing this team and they've kind of overachieved. I mean, they have other guys, but then they come up on a team, you're like, oh, we're just not as good. The Eagles, when they play an above-average offense, statistically have given up 30 points or more. However, when Jalen Hurts starts and finishes a game, or when he starts a game, the Eagles are 15-1, including the playoffs. And their only loss was that weird fluky Monday, or was it Monday or Sunday night, Thursday night game, whatever it was, against Washington in primetime, where they were probably going to win. A couple drop passes, a couple weird calls. So I mean, our last dud Super Bowl was the COVID year, which would have been 2021. It's 2023, so we had bad one, good one, bad one. I don't know. I think that we might be in for kind of a fucking ass kicking here. I think the Eagles might go down. Like I said this yesterday, Eagles might go down as much as 10, and then we look back and the Chiefs haven't scored in forever. They're just pressuring Mahomes. He can't get out of it. Kelsey's the only guy he throws to. I mean, Darius Slay and Bradbury are better than the Chiefs receivers. I mean, if you go position by position, Chris Jones starts on the Eagles, Chiefs defensive tackle. Then probably an offensive lineman. Maybe Joe Tooney starts for the Eagles, the Chiefs guard. And then Kelsey starts for the Eagles. And then Mahomes starts for the Eagles. And maybe Justin Reed, the safety. So that's 5 out of 22. Other than that, I don't think any of these Chiefs start for the Eagles. Like, none of them. And Jalen Hurts, it's not like it's the best quarterback versus the worst quarterback. It's the best quarterback versus the other MVP quarterback. So, I mean, that's my read. And the closer I get to this thing, everyone's scared of Mahomes, but it's not like having LeBron in basketball in his prime, or Steph, or whoever. He doesn't play defense. Like, I don't know how the Chiefs are going to stop these guys. I don't know that they're going to, and I don't know. I got the Eagles by double digits, multiple possessions. Eagles by multiple possessions. Chiefs, and then Mahomes. We start to have this question with Andy Reid, like, boy, you're almost the greatest. I think that's what's going to happen. But what the fuck do I know? Next time I see you, we'll have a champion, back and better than ever Monday morning.